Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ayman and today we will be looking at how to make a no-bake mango cheesecake with no gelatin. I have almost no experience, but in this video you will see 3 cakes I made over 3 days and how that went. I will be giving all sorts of pointers on how to avoid mistakes I made. We will start off with the ingredients and equipment required. For a 7 or 8 inch pan, you can see the ingredients here: 250 grams of cream cheese, 1 cup heavier whipping cream, 200 grams of biscuit crumbs. You can use digestives or graham crackers, it's up to you. 2 or more tablespoons of melted butter, or substitute with milk for a softer texture, but it's highly recommended you go with butter. 1/4 cup and 2 tablespoons of powdered or icing sugar, 1 cup or more of mango puree, which is about 3 mangoes just to be on the safe side, and some water. Moving on to equipment, you should have these at home. Remember to use double the ingredients if you are going to use a 9 or 10 inch pan. I'm using digestive biscuits. They come in 120 gram packets, so I use almost 2 packets. It's okay if you use a bit more, adjust the other ingredients accordingly. Crush the biscuits to either a fine crumb or to a semi-crumb to maintain some of the original crunch. The recipe asks to soak 2 tablespoons melted butter with the crumbs. Using butter will help keep the crumbs intact, so you can try using 3 to 4 tablespoons as mine didn't fully harden at all points. I used about 30 milliliters of milk in one of the cake's crumbs, and that gave a soggier yet more consistent texture, which wasn't bad, but may not be suitable for everyone. Line the pan with parchment paper. I've seen people scale it to the inside of the pan, but that can make it difficult to take off the cake, so better to go with what you see in the top right version. Pack the crumbs in nicely to the bottom of the pan. You can use your hands or anything that has a flat bottom you can push in. Refrigerate the pan for at least 10 minutes or until you need it again. Always wash your hands, sometimes multiple times per step. Get cream cheese in a bowl. If it's too hard, you can mash it a bit to soften it up, but it's not necessary. I used Beka cream cheese. You can use Philadelphia or any other good quality cream cheese, but don't go for the spreadable version as that may not have the same output. Get a 1/4 cup of icing sugar, which is 4 tablespoons, and mix it into the cream cheese. Use a spatula or a spoon to cut it in until you get a nice smooth texture. While you mix the cheese and sugar, take the bowl you'll be using to prepare the whipping cream and set it to chill in the freezer or refrigerator. Set aside the cheese mixture. You can put it in the fridge if you will take a long time, but best to leave it out. Chill the bowl where we will prepare the cream. Whipping the cream in a room temperature bowl will prove difficult or more time consuming. I used Master Gourmet Heavy Whipping Cream. I'll put more info in the description below about these products. Take a cup of heavy cream or whipping cream and start whisking. When using the stick hand whisker or blender, it took about 2 to 3 minutes for stiff peaks to show up. Contrast this with the glass jar method, where you make sure the glass is tightly sealed, and it took about 7 minutes. I don't suggest this method unless absolutely necessary. It was difficult to get all of that cream out too. Using a fork, double forks, whisks, and other manual methods are quite time consuming and require a lot of endurance and energy, so it is not recommended. At about 4 minutes, I took off the cap of the jar and you can see it wasn't ready yet. Be sure that once you see any signs of stiff peaks that you stop, otherwise you will make something else like butter. I don't mean it will happen right away, but to be aware. This is also dependent on the method used, as a KitchenAid may overmix in a few seconds, whereas forks or a mason jar could take a few minutes extra. We mix the cream cheese and the whipped cream together thoroughly, then we take a little bit out to use later as another layer. Try to separate the mixture into 2 equal portions. Mix 1 portion with mango puree. If you prefer, you can mix the entire cream mixture with mango puree, but we want to separate it to give it a little bit of layering. The mango puree is made with mashed mangoes. You can use 3 and that should be enough. Cut mangoes and then mash with hands or forks. To get a much smoother puree, you take that and use a blender, mixer, or whisk. I personally use the hand mixer I use to whip cream. Take half a cup of the mango puree and mix it well into the cream and cheese mixture. When you get the mix that you want, pour onto the crumbs inside the pan and use your spatula or spoon to flatten the layer. If you kept the mango-less cream and cheese mixture, you layer that on top of the previous mix. You'll see on the top right version of the cheesecake, my mango mixture was more colorful because of the type and quantity of puree used. Sadly, the cream in that cake had a lot left to be desired as some got wasted in the mason jar, and it wasn't whipped as well as it could have been direct from the hand mixer. If you prefer, you can be done at this step. Your cheesecake is ready. Place the cheesecake in the fridge for 4 to 24 hours. The longer it's in there, the better it will set. But we will go 2 steps further. We will be adding another layer of mango puree. This one is slightly thicker and sweeter than what was mixed inside. Then we will add a mango flower or design or garnish. Put the stove on low heat and pour half a cup of mango puree onto the heating pan. Mix in 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of water. Keep the puree heating until the water is dissolved and you get a thicker, creamier puree. Once you get to a consistency you can be happy with, turn off the heat and let the puree cool. Pour over the mango cheesecake. You'll notice on the top right corner the puree there turned really dark and sticky. Unfortunately, I kept the puree on the stove for a longer time and the heat was turned up a bit. Try not to do that. Put the cheesecake into the fridge for 4 to 24 hours. Doing less is discouraged as even with 4 hours some of the pieces may not set. I kept mine at 6, 8, and 24 hours and they all set well except for the crumbs, which honestly could have used more butter. You'll see I kept the pans on a platform and pushed the sides down. I've seen other YouTubers do it, and I believe it's just so that the top doesn't accidentally get ruined. If you have careful hands, you can take the top root, which I did with my first cheesecake not shown here. Open the springform pan carefully. The cheesecake will spread out a little bit once the sides are open. You'll notice with the extra parchment paper it was easy to carry the cake out of the bottom pan. If you are eating it at home without too much presentation, you can forego the paper completely. You can make a nice mango flower with one mango, cut both sides into large wedges and peel the skin, then make really thin slices and design accordingly. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of the ones I made here, and I messed up the one I tried for the third cheesecake. I was also in a rush for the third one, which is why you don't really see a final finished photo of that. I hope this helped. If you have any questions at all, feel free to comment, leave a like, and give me feedback. I can try similar videos if there's any value for it. Thanks, and bye.